Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cutterpillar's Craft Along Friday that we've got going on today. I'm Melody. I'm here at the Cutterpillar headquarters studio. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes. Everybody, let us know where you're from. Hi, Misty from Dayton. Welcome. We're very excited to have you. I have Jack helping me behind the scenes. So if anyone has questions for Jack, answer those as we go on. I know some of you have been seeing Jack out on the road for the last couple of months, showing off all of our stuff at the expo. So we're really excited. I've been able to get out of the office and go do that a couple of times too. I was able to for QuiltCon a couple of weeks ago, which was super fun because it was cold here and warm there. It's snowing today here in Utah. Welcome, Trudy from Tennessee. Hopefully you're warm in Tennessee. And Cassie from Georgia. So I don't know where, does that say Waycross from Georgia? Waycross, Georgia. I don't see very well today. Keisha is at the Sewing and Quilt Expo in Duluth, Georgia today. So I don't know if Waycross is close to that or not, but go say hi to her if you guys are close by Duluth, Georgia. And Norma from San Marcos is here. And Rosina from Raleigh. There's some static or feedback through the microphone, they said. You pop in those headphones that are hooked in there, Jack, and see if you can hear that. We have one, I think they're by the TV. I don't know, they're hooked in there somewhere. We have one microphone or two microphones that are really good and one that sometimes has a little bit of static. So we might have popped it, might have grabbed the wrong one. Jack's going to try to figure that out. There's always something, right? There's always something going on. But welcome everybody. It is Friday Craft Along from Minnesota. Colette, I wonder how cold you are there in Minnesota. We're in the 30s here today in Utah, which is not amazing, but it's not 14 degrees. I got stranded in Minnesota one time at 14 degrees, and that was not fun. North Carolina, I love North Carolina. Anyway, welcome you guys. Today is going to be, we're going to do some business stuff first, but today's going to be a craft along that I hope you all bear with me on. See, all right, let's try this one. Is this one on? Yeah. Let me turn the other one off. Turn this one back on. Yep. I'll turn that one back on so that you guys can hear me. You know what? Never a dull moment around here at Cutterpillar headquarters. We always have something crazy happening. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do some business stuff. Make sure that you guys all go to our website, cutterpillar.com. Sign up for our newsletters at the bottom. We have some very exciting things coming up very soon. We're going to try not to spill the beans today. That's why Jack can't be on camera because he likes to spill the beans on things that are happening. Is this on? Okay, let's turn this other one off. We'll test this one. Okay, that one's working, it looks like. So I switched microphones. So you guys tell me if this one is still having any feedback. Let me know if you're having any issues with that. Go ahead and close out of that. We'll see what everyone's talking about. There we go. 41 degrees. That's better than here today. Hi, Jana. Thank you for joining us, you guys. We're so excited. So make sure that you go sign up for our newsletter at cutterpillar.com. We have some super fun things coming up. One of which I do get to tell you about. We are having our, well, not our first, but first of its kind 3-day live event. We had a 2-day live event last fall, and we had our 12 days of Christmas everyday live event and those kinds of things, which we had so much fun doing. But we have a 3-day live event coming up later this month in a couple of weeks on the, Jack, do you remember 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, I think, 18th, 19th, and 20th, where we're going to have fun announcements. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have classes. We're going to have how-tos. We're working with a nonprofit, and we're doing that. Thank you, Misty, for telling us that. All of that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys mark your calendars. Right now, the schedule goes from 9 till 1, I think, on those 3 days, Mountain Time. We've got so much stuff we're trying to do. We might jam pack that up and fill that a little bit more time. We might have to extend some of those days because we can't stop finding good things. Thank you guys for letting us know the sound is better. We appreciate that. But we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you sign up for the newsletter and you get all the information on that. I'm going to let you guys in, since you are here with me today, in on a little secret for that live event. If you pre-register for it, you will get to be one of the VIPs, and you get extra fun stuff for the VIPs, extra giveaways, extra discounts, extra goodies, extra stuff, extra, because we all like being VIPs. I have a funny story with my family when we travel. I like to be a VIP when I travel. Jack can tell you. He's laughing at me right now. But I will always pay an extra $15 to stand in a VIP line rather than a regular line. I will always do that. We went to Chicago and went up the Sears Tower. I know that's not what it's called anymore, but it was called that when I lived there as a kid. I would pay the extra $15 to go faster through there. We went on that big giant Ferris wheel in Vegas and paid an extra $15 a ticket to do that, and got to walk by a bunch of people, get right on, get right off. That's what we do. So sign up to be a VIP for our virtual event that's coming up in a couple of weeks, because it's lots of extra good stuff. We have, I'm not sure I'm supposed to tell who all is going to be there, but we have some of our current affiliates that you guys have seen with us before joining us. We have some new people that haven't joined us before. We have lots of fun stuff planned. So make sure you join us for that. Also, I mentioned the affiliates. If you guys want to be an affiliate, share the Cutterpillar love and get paid for that. You can do that through our website. Also go to our Facebook page. Go to, Jack, if you flip over to the banners, there's a banner that says Facebook, where the creations. Join the Facebook group. It's the second, or yeah, right there. I always say this the wrong way, but go to Facebook, search for Cutterpillar Creations Hub. Join us there. We do a lot of fun stuff in there as well. And there's also an insiders group that we have. So if you sign up for our newsletter, you will find some info about that. Those will kind of pop out. So that's kind of the business stuff. So today we're going to do a little paper crafting project. Part of it is stuff that I've done several of. Part of it is not. Today's a hard day for me. I decided to do this project because today is the first anniversary of my mom passing. It was a year ago today. And over the last year, as we've been going through her stuff, she was the one that taught me to be crafty from the beginning. She was always a quilter. She hand embroidered quilt tops and always had quilt frames up at the house, and worked, Keisha, worked on quilts my whole life growing up. She always had the quilt frames up and she would hand quilt the quilts, and it was always amazing. But when I was 12 years old, she gave me a scrapbook, and it was those old books with the sort of magnetic sticky pages. You know, let me know if you guys remember those. Let me know if you guys remember those books. They tell us not to use them anymore because there's so much acid in that glue. It will mess up your photos. So we don't use those anymore. But we have dozens and dozens and dozens of photo albums that my mom put together like that. But she gave me one of all of my memories of notes that she had written me, my baby photos, all that stuff. She cut out flowers from greeting cards and borders from greeting cards to decorate the pages. She gave me that when I was 12 years old. And that sort of started me on my love for scrapbooking and memory keeping, because I loved growing up and being able to look at all those photos in that book, even though my mom's handwriting was terrible, but she always wrote stuff in it and she added photos and all those things. And I've been looking through that photo book a lot over the last year, as with all of her stuff. And as I'm going through everything, I am seeing that she kept memories for everything except for of herself. So us as kids, as we're going through it now, we'll can't catch a glimpse of her in the background of one of the photos that we had gotten from the slides here and there. But there's nothing about her so much. Her photos aren't in there. Her handwriting is there, but it's terrible. We can't read it. But what she loved at the time and what she was thinking at the time of all of this stuff, we don't really know. We think we know because we have our own memories, and we think that that's what she must have thought because that's how it came across to us, but we don't really know. So what I wanted to show you guys how to make today is a little mini album, a simple one that you can make by yourself. You can make it in any size. We're going to make it in 4x6 today. You can make it in any size, but it's so that I have something that I can leave and hide in a drawer that my kids can find one day, so that they can know what I felt in March of 2025. So this is what it looks like. This is our little book. Jack, you want to switch cameras there? We'll try to show it right here. This is the little book. It's like I said, it's only 4x6, but we're going to make this book and we're going to make our own pages. So as you open it, there's little note paper in here that I can write. I can add photos to the one side, and I can write what I'm thinking and feeling at the time right now in our lives. And what I'm going to show you how to do today is to make the binding that you can slide the pages into. I've made this book a bunch of different times. I've made it for Christmas presents. I've made it for saving little cards, because you can change the sizing of it, of what you want. But it's a fun little book that I gave a couple of these to my mom as my kids were growing up, with their like school photos and things like that in it. But this, I think it's very important for us. We're the ones that do the crafts. We're the ones that do the memory keeping. We're the ones that do all of this. And we make all of these things, whether it's quilting or no matter what it is, we make all these things to pass along to our children and our grandchildren, our great grandchildren. I mean, the quilts that I have that my mom made are so dear to me. And so is the book that she made me. But I don't have anything of her. I don't really know what she was thinking. I don't really know all of this stuff. So this is important to pass down as well. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This is going to be fun. It seems like it's really hard, but it's really, really super easy. So what you're going to do, I talked the last craft along or both of the craft alongs that we've done for paper crafting that I've done, I talk about how I like to choose collections because everything matches and I don't have to do all that work. It's like when you're quilting and you get a jelly roll or something, all this stuff's going to coordinate. So I found in my stash of stuff, in my paper crafting stash, I have all these collections that I used in my previous job to do a lot of scrapbooking and paper crafting with. And I have a bunch of them that I've loved so much that have been sitting there for years and years and years that just have little bits and pieces left, a couple of sheets of paper and a couple of embellishments and not all of this stuff. This little project is perfect for something like that. So I found this one. It was made by Teresa Collins a long, long time ago. And I don't even know what the name of it is anymore because I only have pieces of it anymore. But these are like the random little bits that I still have from the collection. It was a collection that she made for the same kind of a purpose, like this day, this life, this is what's happening for me right now, kind of a collection. And so what we're going to do, what you're going to do when you're going to make this little mini album, you're going to cut your covers out first. So you're going to use our beautiful paper cutter because we all know and love our Pro paper cutter. I'll tell you about this really quick if you guys haven't seen it. You've got your blade that's inside your cartridge here, so it's nice and safe and you're not going to hurt yourself. But the best part is this little light here. This little light shines and this will show you exactly where it is you're trying to make your cut. So you can see what you're doing right here. So we wanted to cut these. I already cut them, but we cut these in 4x6. You need a front cover and a back cover in 4x6. And that is going to be your front cover and back cover, as I just said. So those two things you need for your little book here. So this is the front cover. This is the back cover. Super easy. And then just embellish your top. Embellish the cover with whatever. I have a heart. I have a typewriter, which you can't find very often anymore. I have a little thing that says today because this is me today. So this is what we're doing. So that we've got that. Then we're going to make our little binding. I'm going to show you how to make the binding. And we're going to do that with our little crease scoring board. This is the best scoring board out there. You can see through it. So you can use it on top of one of our glow light boards and the light will shine through. It's free. It's really amazing. It's an amazing little thing. So what you're going to do first, you're going to make an inner binding and you're going to make an outer binding. Those are the two things that you're going to make for your, the binding for your little mini album. So first we're going to make our, I have my notes over here. Sorry about that. First, we're going to make our outer binding. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut a little tiny piece of paper. And this little piece of paper is going to be 4 inches by 2 1/4. Now, the reason that I said earlier that you can change the size, this little thing is, if you'll flip the camera, Jack, this little thing right here is 4 inches tall by 6 inches wide. So if you want to make a book 6 inches by 6 inches, all you do is you make your little binding here 6 inches long or 8 inches long, or however many inches long you want to make your book. Right now we're doing it at 4 inches, but you make that however long you want to do. And then what you're going to do is you're going to score it. Now our handy dandy crease scoreboard, there's 2 different ways to score on this, and we're going to do both ways on this. So first of all, we're going to take out our reverse scoring rule right here. We're going to make 2 scores. We're going to make a score at 1 inch and at 1.5 inches for the outer binding. So I'm going to set it here in my 1 inch mark right here. There's a little red dot on the top, and that helps you figure out where you're going to put it. So at the 1 inch, and then we're going to use the tool, and our little scoring tool right here. The back side of this tool has a little metal channel, and that metal channel fits over the top of this little silver bar right here. So we're going to score it right here at 1 inch. So you just set your paper over the top. And I say this all the time, when you do this, it feels super weird to do. It's not a traditional score. It doesn't feel right, but it's so right at the same time. So we're going to score that at 1 inch. Then we're going to move this over, and we're going to move it over to our 1.5 inch, and we're going to score it that way as well. So we are going to make a little binding here. Now this paper that I'm using is 85-pound textured paper. And because it's textured, normally you're going to worry about how well that scores. But look at those. Look at those pretty score lines. Look how amazing that is. Look how amazing the little bumps are on the back. The thing that's the best about our scoring board is it's not going to matter which direction you fold the paper. You can fold it either way. So you can decide when you're doing this, if you're using textured paper, if you want the outer binding to be smooth or you want it to be textured, it doesn't matter because you can fold it in either direction. But you're going to fold both ends of this inward, and then you're going to end up with this little thing. So this is going to be your outer binding. I have my texture out, but that is going to be your outer binding, okay, right there. Either direction. Fold it whichever way you want. Now we're going to make our inner binding. So our inner binding, you're going to have a little piece of paper, again, that's 4 inches tall, or however tall you are doing your book. If you're making it 6 inches tall or 8 inches tall, that's how tall you're going to do it. So 4 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. And we're going to make some vertical scores because this is going to be the inside binding of this. Now, if you want to make more pages in a book, extend that 3.5 inches as well. Okay. That's just a little trick. So if you want many more pages, you can do that. If you do that, you have to change the size of your outer binding a little bit. So we're not going to talk about that. That can be a lot. We're just going to talk about the one we did, 4 by 6 inches. Okay. So this is 4 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. And we are going to score at, we're going to use the other side because the other side of this has little ball stylus. Some scoreboards come with those bone folders that poke right straight through your paper, but this one doesn't because you've got a nice smooth ball stylus. Jack did a fantastic job because it is exactly the same size as these little grooves in your scoreboard. So it will not slip off. It will not, even if it slips off a little bit, it doesn't mess up because it is the exact right size. So you're going to start scoring this at 1 inch, and then we're going to score every 1/4 inch until we get to 2.5 inches. So when I do this, I like to start at my 1, and then I like to do my 2.5, which is right here. And then I go every 1/4 inch. So I typically will use this other tool to do all of my scoring, especially if I'm doing card making or doing card bases or anything like that. I'll use this one. But when I have to do a whole bunch of little scores like this, what I make in an accordion fold for my book binding, I like to just use the other side because I can just go right through. And it's so smooth with this ball stylus. It's so smooth. So you go all the way through and you end up with all of these little scores. See those? There we go. There they all are. See the little bumps or the little valleys, either way. And again, it doesn't matter which direction you fold it because you can, it's a smooth fold because of this. So you're going to fold your ends in, again, the same way you did with your outer binding. So you fold your little end in and your little end in. And then you are going to fold accordion wise all the way through. So one way, all the way through until you get to this. So you have your little accordion fold right here. So this is your inner binding. And this is where we're going to end up putting our little pages. So when you have your little page, that's going to glue right inside each of these little grooves right here. So you're going to have one here. You're going to stick one there. You're going to stick them all in here. That's why if you want to lengthen this and add more pages, you can, but you're going to stick them all right inside there. Okay. Now what do you do? How do you make sure that this all stays together how you want? So we are going to stick this down. So you're going to crease it really nice and tight. Make sure you crease it really nice and tight. I like to use the side of my scoring tool to crease these things. It's kind of like a bone folder, kind of like that's what you would use, right? Normally a bone folder probably. But crease these all really good on the outer binding and the inner binding both. Now, the way that I glue this together, I don't know if this is the way most people do it, but this is the way that I do it. The way that I glue this together is I use this stuff that I call killer red tape. I used to work for a company called We Are Memory Keepers, and we used to make in-house photo albums. We used to make, we used to put the books together in-house. We would make for memory albums and things like that. And we called this killer red tape, and this is what we used to make it. Believe it or not, it was not anything more fancy than this. I know you can, I don't know what they call it. I know you can get it at the store. I don't know if they call it killer red tape, but this is what we always called it. It's double-sided adhesive, and it is so super strong. So put some adhesive, whatever adhesive you're going to use. This is my favorite. Right down the middle gutter of your outer binding, right? Right down the middle of the gutter. So now I got to take off this little red part. I got to take off the other side. I did the shows the last couple of weeks I was talking about. I was up in Seattle last week, and I was at QuiltCon in Arizona the week before. Every time I do all of the shows, Keisha, if she pops back on here, I don't know if she's here or not. She's in Atlanta at a show right now. I break every single fingernail that I have opening boxes and stuff like that. They're really not very strong anyway, but I break every single one. So now I've got my adhesive down the middle of my gutter. You can kind of see where it is. It's super shiny. So then we're going to take our inner binding, and we're going to fold it up really tight, nice and small like this, and it's going to set right in there. You're going to want to try to match up the end fold and the end fold with the two end of the inner folds inside your binding. Again, you're going to take your end fold and your end fold. You're going to want to match those up inside the binding. And this is how you're going to make your binding. Now, I am not a professional paper crafter, but this is how I've always done it, and it's always worked really, really well for me. So I take one side and I make sure to line it up, and then I take the other side and I make sure to line it up, and then I press it down nice and gently. But then all of these little bumps are touching that adhesive right there. They're all touching the adhesive right there. So you keep it all nice and tight right in there, nice and tight. And then you're going to take another bit of adhesive. Oops, that almost came all the way off. And you're gonna stick it in between these two pieces, right? Your inner binding piece and your outer binding piece. So you want to make sure that these are stuck together also. So we're going to do a little killer red tape right here. I wish I knew what other people called that. Have you ever seen that stuff? Is that what you call it? That's what I've always called it since I worked at We Are Memory Keepers. And then one on the other side. And this is what will hold down your binding together. It's a little precarious. It's a little weird. The other thing I love about the killer red tape is you don't need very much. That stuff is so strong. I mean, we used to put photo albums together with it. So they are super strong. Oh, see, my little nails. I don't have any nails. Okay, there we go.
It's called killer red tape.
Is it killer red tape? It's the best stuff ever. It's really the best stuff. So make sure that your fold and your grooves are met together, and then you're going to stick that all together. So there you've got, look at that. There you've got your little binding. Now you've got your inner binding and your outer binding stuck together. And now that's where your little pages are going to go. You're going to stick your little pages in each of these things. Look at that. La. Then the other thing you're going to do is you're going to take your cover and you're going to stick it on the top. And this cover should fit your outer binding exactly. See how that fits perfectly? And your back cover will fit that side perfectly. And you're going to glue those. You're going to glue those together. And then it's going to be like this one that we already did. So it's all stuck together just like that. See that? And you've got your little pages. So when you are sticking your little pages in, so this is my one little page. This is my little page that I made. You can't really see what I wrote. Maybe that's okay. This is just my favorite things in March of 2025. Our family's been trying to figure out some weekend getaways. My oldest daughter, this is very traumatic for me. Not that today isn't traumatic enough for me, but my oldest daughter is turning 30 this year. We won't talk about how old that makes me, but she is turning 30. So we're trying to get something together for her so that we can do something fun. It's kind of a momentous thing. I was talking to Jack about it the other day, How many years has it been since your oldest turned 30?
3 years ago.
His oldest turned 33 years ago. So everyone remember Jack is older than me. It's traumatic for me. Like it's a thing. Like I thought being married for 30 years was traumatic enough, but when you're kid, yeah, you start feeling your age. Anyway, so I've got that. Our 2025 trips, we're trying to figure out something fun to do for Samantha's birthday. I am also, guys, going to see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere in Vegas in July. I'm so excited for that. They're my favorite band forever. So that's another little trip we're doing. And then a dear friend of mine is turning 80 this year, and we were invited to go with their family to celebrate her birthday. So those are my trips for this year outside of work, and I'm super excited about all that stuff. So that's what I wrote down for today, so that maybe one day, if my kids find this, they'll go, oh, that's right. That was the year I turned 30. That's what she was thinking about. Oh, yeah, that's right. I went with my mom to see the Backstreet Boys, whatever it is. And then I can embellish all on the other pages and more about it. So anyway, flip that camera back. So what I do to stick my pages in, I get another little piece of killer red tape on the edge here, and I make it nice and skinny, and I just fold it over the back so it's on both sides. Killer red tape on both sides, and then I peel that red part off, and then I've got this little bit of adhesive. It's kind of hard to see there, but I've got this little tiny bit of adhesive, and it's also on the back edge of the paper. So it's a little bit on either side, but it's on the edge of the paper. So that's what will help it stay stuck in. So then you're going to stick it in right in there, and then you're going to just kind of close it up and squish it down, and that will help it hold in place. So there we go. That is our little book. Look at that. I've got my favorite things in March. I can add photos in here. I can add more notes in here. I can do more stuff in here. And then hopefully one day my kids will find this and go, oh, she did have some nice thoughts in her brain during her lifetime when we were making her crazy. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, this little album you can make for anything. You can do it for Christmas. You can do it for birthdays. You can do little brag books for your parents or your grandparents or for your kids or whatever. Jack, flip over to the banners. I'm going to tell you one more time what sizes to make, because the biggest thing about this is the outer binding cut and the inner binding cut. Everything else is super easy. So the outer binding cut, you want to cut your paper 4 inches by 2¼ inches, and you're going to score it. That TV keeps turning on and off. You're going to score it at 1 inch and 1½ inches. So take a screenshot of that or write that down. Then your inner binding is going to be 4 inches by 3½ inches, scored at 1 and at 2½ and at every 1/4 inch along the way as you go, and fold it like an accordion. And then you can make this cute little book with the little binding already done. And it's super fun, guys. This is a great little book. Like I said, I've made tons of them. So it's super great for that. Anyway, we really appreciate that you guys are here. That's our just quick little crafty tutorial today. And my little reminder to make crafts that include yourself, whether it be sewing and quilting or paper crafting or anything like that. Include yourself in it, because we're passing on these crafts to somebody else as we pass along, and they're going to want to see them. They're going to want to have them there. Thank you, Anne-Marie. It is a nice, fun little one. Yes. Thank you, Misty. You'll be able to refer back to this anytime. It'll be live on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page, so you can go back and check it out. You can always send me an email if you have any questions at melody@cutterpillar.com. I'm happy to help with anything that way. But hug people that you love. Make crafts that include you guys, for real. Make sure you do that. But also back to the business stuff, because if I don't remind you of all the things that are going on at Cutterpillar, I'm not doing my job. So this month, we have some really cool special things in the works that I'm not allowed to tell you about it right now, but go to our website, cutterpillar.com, sign up for a newsletter so you can get all of that information. We are having a 3-day virtual event. We're going to have lots of classes. We're going to have demos. We're going to have products. We're going to have specials. We're going to have all of those things. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter, because if you guys pre-register for our live events, that's on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. all the dates are mushing in my brain. 18th, 19th, and 20th. You get extra cool stuff if you're a VIP, just like we like. So you get bigger discounts, you get more giveaways, you get all kinds of fun stuff. So sign up for our newsletter so you can get that email to sign up as a VIP for our live event. We're going to have paper crafting demos. We're going to have sewing demos. We're going to have quilting demos. We're going to have foundation paper piecing. We're going to have, oh my gosh, what else? There's so many things. So much stuff. Yeah. We have guests coming, some that you've seen before with us, some that are brand new. We have companies joining us that you haven't seen here before that are going to be so fantastic that we're super excited about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's going to be super quilt. I got into quilting, so I had quilts to hand to my children and grandchildren. Yes, Misty, I'm telling you, the quilts that my mother passed down mean so much to us. When she got Alzheimer's, we found bins and bins of quilts that she had made. She made a ton of little baby size quilts. And so we were able to pass along those to all of her grandchildren at the time. And don't tell anyone in my family, but I found a big one that nobody claimed and I totally stole it. So I have an extra one, but we're not telling anybody. But yeah, those are to be able to pass them down is amazing, but make sure to include yourself too. Make a little handwritten note to stick with them. Make memory books, or journal it, like even just journaling, like so they have something to read. It's so amazing. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Find us on Facebook, find us on social media, sign up for our newsletter, join us for our virtual event. We're going to have another craft along next week before the virtual event comes along. Bethany's doing that. She'll be back. Bethany's been out of town. She's been in Australia, poor thing. But she'll be back with us next week. So join us for all of that fun stuff, you guys. We really, really, really appreciate you guys being here. And make sure you come back for our live event in a couple of weeks. Thank you all so much. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. And make sure you get some crafting done. Bye, guys.